Maswera say Mure Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel. Apa tinokupa nhau dzinenge dzichiitika mumativi mana nyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Tichingoti kana kari kutanga kupira pane ino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchinge wagara wakasubscribe, but don't forget to comment and share this video. Tine nhau yatakuigirai muzuva ranhasi mune Zimbabwe apo pari kunzi cyclone Chiwenga has hit the nation. Hanzi Vice President Constantino Chiwenga is demanding the arrest of Chigananda, demanding a referendum, and the people are now demanding him. People are saying that Chiwenga should lead Zimbabwe. Hanzi ngakwende kuma elections povotwa ZANU-PF ichimirwa navaChiwenga. Nyaya yabudiswa naIsaac Makomishi achitaura iye achiti cyclone Chiwenga hits the nation. He demanded the arrest of Chigananda. He demanded a referendum, and the people demanded him. The people of Zimbabwe are facing hardships, rising corruption, and the threatened violation of the constitution through bill number 3. But there is hope somewhere. Chiwenga. Everyone is hoping Chiwenga will bring change to Zimbabwe. Everyone is hoping Chiwenga will stop corrupt officials. Everyone is hoping Chiwenga will protect the constitution of Zimbabwe. Late last year, in the Politburo, Chiwenga demanded the arrest of Chigananda, stealing from every corner of the nation. Last month again, in the Politburo, Chiwenga insisted that if bill number 3 is truly for the people, then it must go through a referendum. His actions have made him a darling of the people. He is seen as a people-first leader. Across all social media platforms, from Twitter to WhatsApp groups, one line keeps repeating: only Chiwenga will save this nation. When all veterans, pastors, vendors, and students all say the same name, there is no longer politics. This is a cyclone, and it is hitting the nation. Namabuditsiro akaitwa nyaya iyi mure Zimbabwe, and a lot of people were commenting vachitaura ivo vachiti yes, he is the one to correct the mess. Singazive kuti munoonawo sei, tiudzewo zvamuri kufunga mucomment section.
But if we don't know how to use the actual instruments of state that are delegated to be the ones who are the responsible adults, and then we continue to use the same system that you are saying creates the problem, and we replicate it and create a parallel defense system that is a copycat of the one that is the destructive instrument that is being used. So now you are saying, similarly as ZANU-PF, which has abrogated its duty to follow the rule of law and has created an abstract structure that undermines the instruments of state. Let's create ourselves from that ideology, a defense that uses the same approach. We are now going to not separate power. We are not going to use the instruments of state that are the responsible adult and hold them accountable. We are now going to just start fielding our information to the executive of the country to be the one that now must sit with this arm and interfere into all these other processes. Because somehow he has become the ultimate, even in processes. We are extending it. We are saying our help must come from the thing that constructed the problem.
That's not what we're saying, Mercy. We are saying that the institution that the president needs to build his legitimacy, which is ZANU-PF first and foremost, and then the nation, we need to stop being complicit and we need to challenge him. So ZANU-PF can challenge the position of the president, his non-election, and his eligibility for him to be going for a 2030. That can be challenged within ZANU-PF successfully, and it can be stopped there. So this is not involving the executive. It is
But when we
using the
start to
system.
speak of an
It
ignorance,
is using the
Banana
institution.
Banana Mkan. Okay, Masimi, I'll let you land and then you come in.
The president of Zimbabwe has legitimacy because of ZANU-PF. And for him to be legitimate in ZANU-PF, he has to be elected by the Congress of ZANU-PF. And that hasn't happened for him to be talking 2030. So why are you not talking to ZANU-PF to say this process has not been completed? This person has not been accepted. The resolution being used has not been coming from Congress. So there should be already a null and void, or at least an ultra virus challenge to what has been done by a central committee that has not been elected properly, with individuals that are not supposed to be there, who are making laws now for the nation and pushing things through cabinet into an amendment to the constitution that is ultra vires because it's already null and void from ZANU-PF itself. We need to look at all those processes that challenge the institution that gives the legitimacy. Talking about the presidency does not mean anything because the presidency needs us to accept. He needs us to acquiesce to what it is that he's doing. And if ZANU-PF says we don't acquiesce to your decision to try and go to 2030, yet we haven't elected you, that automatically means that what he's doing becomes void. If we as the citizens also then say, before we even start talking about that, let's look at the process that you've used to try and push your amendment. And we challenge that with the report that Majome gave us. Those are the practical things we can do. And you yourself said, Woza women went to court in Rhodesia. I mean, sorry, no, not Woza women. Woza women went to court in Zimbabwe. When the court in Zimbabwe did not give them decisions, they went out to the African Council of Human Rights and People's Rights. We have to now use those very same processes. Finish the internal processes. If the internal processes don't give us decisions, we go out. Those are the practical things we can do. Otherwise, what you are then needing to discuss is, are you willing to go on the road? I think we all know the answer to that. People are not willing to go on the road. So let's talk about what we can practically do rather than to build pies in the sky.
Right. So basically, you are talking about going to the genesis of it all. That ZANU-PF needs to put its house in order. ZANU-PF needs to stop whatever it is that is happening around the president. The creation of these affiliates, the creation of these people who are now surrounding the president, who are now making decisions on behalf of a political party that is supposed to be the driver in making such decisions. And you're saying that we need now to to call for a reset of everything, where ZANU-PF becomes the arbiter or becomes the entity that controls everything and wrestle whatever power that has been abrogated to all these other individuals who are now surrounding the president. Take the power away from those, and when we get that to ZANU-PF following its constitution, then this thing here that we're talking about will be dead in the water.
And we do that while we're also challenging it in the other ways as well, through challenging the processes of the consultation, challenging CAP 3 and how it's being implemented, challenging the fact that they want to pass it through the parliament without going for referendum. We do all these things parallel, but influence ZANU-PF as well, because at the end of the day, I think they've got the keys to unlock this, and we know they're dissatisfied. Hence, Temba Mliswa is fuming every day about how members of ZANU-PF and senior members of ZANU-PF and the structures of ZANU-PF are not supporting CAP 3. Take advantage of that disgruntlement. Take advantage of the firing of the CIO head, and the head of a chapter 12 institution, because it shows that there's fracture within the institution itself, within ZANU-PF itself, within its inner circles itself, and within its government institutions. Take advantage of that, because clearly there is a discord and a division within that we are not currently taking advantage of.